This is Mrs. Schramm, and today we're going to go over the liver peroxidase lab results. This is the average from my two classes, period 1 and period 3. Just a reminder, in this reaction, what we were looking at is we were using liver because it contains the enzyme peroxidase. The enzyme peroxidase is like a pair of scissors. It's an enzyme that can break down hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. In this reaction, because it's exothermic, we were seeing heat released, so we were going to look at how hot the reaction got as the peroxidase helped catalyze the reaction, breaking down hydrogen peroxide into oxygen and water. We were also checking the height of the reaction because the oxygen gas being produced creates lots of bubbles. Let's take a look at what we saw. So, in test tube 1, we had raw liver. In test tube 2, we had boiled liver, so we boiled the enzyme. In test tube 3, we had lemon liver, which means we added acid to the liver enzyme. And then in D, we chopped up the liver because more surface area means more enzyme can interact and touch the hydrogen peroxide to help break it down. So this would be like having 1,000 pairs of scissors instead of just 100 pairs of scissors because the enzyme is only on the surface, on the outside of the enzyme that can touch the hydrogen peroxide. So out of these situations, this is our control. This is the normal condition that we're looking at. And then we were seeing how boiled acid and increased amount of enzyme can help change the rate of reaction for the enzyme peroxidase. So let's see what we saw. You guys added hydrogen peroxide, 2 milliliters. This started to bubble. You saw lots of bubbles happening. Our class average data ended up being 28 degrees Celsius was our average with a height of reaction of 12.7 centimeters. So we can see that there was a good reaction here. Second, you guys tested the boiled liver. The boiled liver, we started off, and when you added the hydrogen peroxide, you saw basically nothing happen, okay? The end result was basically 22 degrees Celsius, which is pretty close to our room temperature, so it didn't really increase. And the average height of reaction was only 2.8 centimeters. You can see the enzyme has been significantly affected by boiling it. Next, we had the lemon. We added the hydrogen peroxide, and we did see some reaction. Remember, we were taking all of the data at 30 seconds so we could see how fast the reaction was going. Like, how hot could the reaction get by 30 seconds? In this case, this reaction did continue to happen. The pH change did slow down the reaction, so it wasn't as big as our raw, but it definitely didn't have quite as many bubbles by 30 seconds. It had an average of 9 centimeters, and the temperature was 24 degrees Celsius, so a smaller reaction. Lastly, when you guys added the hydrogen peroxide to the chopped liver, you immediately saw a reaction, and our end result was 30 degrees Celsius for our hottest temperature and 16 centimeters for the height of the bubbles. So we had the largest bubbles that we've seen. These are the results of our class data, and this is what we will be using to do our graphs, conclusion, and analysis.